Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Next Level broadcast, bringing you live high school football in all northern Michigan. As you just saw, the national anthem kicked off. We've got less than a minute 30 till kickoff in our matchup tonight. We have got the Elk Rapids Elks playing against the Boyne City Ramblers tonight in a really interesting matchup. As we see last week, the Boyne City Ramblers went against Alpena, a D2 school with about 3 times the amount of players, and ended up winning an 18-13 win, which is a massive start to the Ramblers season. As our home team, the Elks tonight, they're looking to bounce back after a rough week one, facing Kalkaska in Kalkaska, throwing up 0 points in the first game. But, there was some bright spots to look at, some turnovers and some, week one penalties that surely they'll clean up today. But they'll have their matchup set against these Ramblers. As we get ready for the kickoff, got to say a quick word from Professional Seamless Gutters. Your home gutters are always there when you need them to be. And so is our good friend Orion Bendigo. And that's why he started Professional Seamless Gutters. Professional Seamless Gutters. Gutters offers fast and experienced service and real-time quotes. But wait, there's more. They'll actually answer your phone call. That's Professional Seamless Gutters at 989-619-3407. And tell them we sent you. As kickoff commences, Elk Rapids getting the ball to start. Brandon Flutie out there won the return, getting to near the 50-yard line. Great start for this Elk Rapids team, trying to start fast and, get some points in this early season after dropping 0 points from the first one. But as we all know, that's not going to be the whole season. It's one game. It's week one.
Elk Rapids, thanks for coming. And the Elk Rapids cheerleaders.
So we do have a bit of a quarterback change tonight. We actually have Ollie Trammell starting. I think that we heard some injury news on the starter from last week. Excuse me. So we should be seeing some new quarterback play from the sophomore, Ollie Trammell, seeing what he has under his belt as we line up in the shotgun on 1st and 10. Looking like a quick run, quarterback run up the middle for a mild gain of 2 yards. Not a terrible way to start, but, this line for the Boyne City Ramblers is quite large, and they've got some units on there that are able to move some guys. So the trenches are going to be an early, point of emphasis for this offense, trying to get some movement, get some guys to maybe break free and wear down this big, heavy defensive front. As we line up again with Trammell in under center, we got 2 in the backfield. Oh, and that was Devin Darren up the middle, and he was snuffed up quickly by number 50, Tristan Agger. Actually, that was a correction. 52, Hiker McKinney. And I think we might be sitting in front of McKinney's parents. They've got one of those big heads with his face on there, waving it up and down. So got some fans out here in the night for the Ramblers as we're lining up 3rd and 7 for your Elks. Trammell under center again. Wyatt Schraub, the motion man. And getting wrapped up in the backfield. Multiple tacklers on that tackle. Tristan Agger in there as well. Setting up a 4th and 6 for this offense, and it seems like we're going to be sitting out here trying to get this offense going. They had the good punt to start out the game, and they've got good field position here on their own 48-yard line. You could say no man's land here in high school football, and looks like they're going to be going for it here. A 4th and 6. Braden Flutie under center. Play action. Keeps his eyes downfield. Oh, and gets there for the first down. First down marker for this Elks team. And actually, excuse my earlier mistake, Ollie Trammell is not starting at quarterback. It looked like he took a rep the first time, but Brandon Flutie is out there. He just actually picked up that 7 yards to keep this Elk team on schedule on their first drive. I liked what they did there, keeping the eyes downfield, getting some misdirection in the backfield with the play action to Mr. Drew Darren. So we're going to see what they're going to do here, keep it on the ground, or are they going to try and air it out here as Flutie lines up in the pistol. Fumble in the backfield was picked up, and Mason Cannon there making, something out of nothing, getting 2 yards there on the play. They really can't be too upset, all things considered. Fumbling was a bit of an issue last year. I believe that their first drive ended up in a fumble. So at least they're not starting to repeating the same mistakes of last week. We might have had a fumble, but we're recovering it, keeping the ball in our possession in Boyne City territory. As we line it up on a 2nd and 8, we've got 2 men in the backfield with Mr. Flutie. He's going to hand it off to Cannon up the gut, and he's going to be swallowed up right there. Looks like big numbers. That 77 out there. 77, Caden Schoolcraft. Another one of those big linemen out there. He looks like quite the unit. Going to give this Elk offensive line, especially those center guard combo, a little work. Make them really work for it. As we're lining up in 3rd and 2, no gain on the last play.
3rd down 8.
And looks like they're going to go back to the pistol. We saw some success on this play. I believe it was 4th down, seeing if they can recreate some of that magic. As Flutie steps back to the pass, looking for Drew Darren out there. In number 8 for Boyne City, Ben Stanek makes the play and almost comes away with the ball for a turnover there. Bit of a questionable throw there, trying to force it a little bit too much, and a great play on the defender to keep it to 4th down. As we are going for another 4th and long, 4th and 8 this time for your Elk offense. Curious to see what they're going to do here, deciding to air it out there on that last down. And, I like what they're trying to do, trying to, get the ball in some playmakers' hands and, punch first per se, because this is a team that's going to punch back pretty hard in this Rambler squad. So
Holding against the Ramblers. 1st down.
Well, it looks like there was a penalty on the play that I did not see, and it was on the Ramblers for a 1st down for the Elks. Big break there on 4th down. Well, now the Elks are looking at great field position as they are past the 40-yard line. Lining up here on 1st down, under center is Mr. Flutie. Pitch out to Mason Cannon for no yards, tackled there by Thomas Agger. Looks like we've got 2 Agger brothers on this Boyne City Rambler squad, and they've been both making plays earlier. A couple plays earlier by Tristan, and then Thomas coming in there on the 1st down to snuff them up for no gain. And, early on, this Elk offense has been struggling a little bit to get the ball rolling on the ground, really trying to punch these guys hard in the nose through the gut. Curious to see if they're going to stick with their game plan, maybe try and swing it out right to one of their playmakers, as we do see Mr. Flutie lining up under center yet again. Motion man is Keegan Keel. And he will go for maybe a yard, depending on the spot from the refs, but still another 3rd down for this Elk squad, having a hard time getting the ball moving on the ground. As we're going to see if they're going to try and air it out a little bit more, or we're going to keep it on the ground and just keep wearing down this defensive front, who has not been given any room for these runners. As we line up in 3rd and 10, we see a pistol formation from the offense. And out wide, we've got number 17, Connor Carlisle. Ooh, pass from Mr. Flutie is off of the hands of Drew Darren for a 4th and 10. It's looking like the offense might, some personnel change, potentially trying to see if they can get a 3. It would be quite the field goal here, but deciding looks like the offense is going to stay on there and try to convert. Well, they are one for one on fourth downs, and, they did get the penalty on the last third down, which would have been fourth down. So far, kept moving the chain. See if that can continue here as we see a flag fly. Oh, never mind. It is a timeout. The Elk Rapids are going to take a break and look over that. And while they take a break, we're going to give a quick little commercial break here on Next Level Broadcasting. This is Jared Stamen along with Ryan, my beautiful camera guy. And we're going to send you guys to some commercials. We'll be back in a jiffy.
Now's the time to fly from your Northern Michigan hometown Cherry Capital Airport, TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now.
Hi, I'm Orion, but you might know me for my business, Professional Seamless Gutters, where we specialize in, you guessed it, everything gutters. New installations, replacements, cleaning, leaf guards, rain chains, and much more. But unlike other service providers, when you call Professional Seamless Gutters, you get me, Orion, not some bum intern or call center recording. So when you're contemplating any services regarding your gutters on your home or pole barn, think Professional Seamless Gutters.
And welcome back to a fourth down for your Elks tonight. And we see him lined up in the pistol formation again. Looking like Mason Cannon in the back. And the throw from Flutie a little high for Connor Carlisle. It would have been a little short of the sticks anyway, and potentially an arm putt if that would have got picked, but defense stays strong. And after forcing almost every single drive to be a fourth down, they end up finally getting that fourth down turnover and getting back on offense. Now, the defense for the Elks, even though they didn't have a great game last week, did really play good, holding their opponent to under 120 yards. And we're going to see the quarterback, Drew Neer, senior, lining up here to take the first snap of this Week 2 matchup. Oh, looks like we had a jump on the Elks. Number 18, Gatelin Zawara. That's another one of those things that we kind of talked about a little bit in the beginning of the show. Some of these early penalties have been keeping this Elk Rapids offense from really flourishing last week. And so far, defensively, not really a great start with the jump in early, as we see them with the same formation on a 1st and 5. Run up the middle to number 14, Owen Hewitt. Another one of the seniors in the backfield. Great first down run for this Rambler offense. Really just a strong team, and it's gonna take a lot from this Elk team as we actually go in the hurry up. Drew Adler in the pistol. As we see Jackson E to the near side, handoff to Drew Bryant. And he will be snuffed up there. Looking like multiple Elks there on the tackle. Brody Turner, excuse me, seeming to be one of the many Elks on that play. As we are in a 2nd and 5, top of the screen we have got Jack Van Zee. As we see Drew Aller in the pistol formation. Good snap, and he's looking out for Jack Van Zee, and he will make the catch and break a tackle down to the 35-yard line. Not the start that this Elks defense has wanted to start. 2 plays, 2 big gains for this offense, keeping the chains going. Curious to see how they continue to adjust. It is just the first drive of this young game, but we're curious to see as, again, they hurry to the line for a 1st and 10. Oh, Drew decided to keep it, and he ended up getting to that first down again. Drew Neer on the quarterback power to the right side. They ran a little bit of the motion there to get a blocker out there for him, and, well, it seemed to do pretty good there, picking up another first down. Seems like they're, as Drew As Drew Neer is talking to his head coach, he is getting some plays for the next set of downs. We've got 1st and 10. And I'd like to see some of this Elk team get some penetration and just make this quarterback's decision-making a little bit harder as we're lining up in the shotgun yet again. And we got number 14 out on the edge, breaking a tackle, stiff-arming, bringing down Connor Carlisle there on the tackle. Great run. Great run there by Jamie Joseph. Making his Elk team work for every play there, even on these times where you're seemingly going to run out of bounds. He throws out the stiff for him, trying to get those extra 2 yards. As we're lining up on a 2nd and 7. Drew Neer taking the snap. Handoff to Tanner Kelly, and he will be tackled down there by Brody Turner again. But we do see a flag on the play, and it's seeming to be a hold on the offense. Yeah, looks to be a holding on the offense. A big break for this Elk team. You know, they've been kind of getting, you know, their mouth punched in a little bit by this big front and the Ramblers, so they will take any help they can get. Self-inflicted wounds are your other team's best friend. And as we have a quick little break, let you know about Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. It's time to get away to your dream destination. Oh, never mind. A little less of a break than I thought. We're going to go right here for a long 2nd down, almost a 2nd and seemingly 18 yards. Pistol formation again for the Ramblers. Drew Neer ready to take the snap. Top of your screen, we've got Jack Van Zee. The pressure gets to him, and he has to throw it away, but caught by Tanner Kelly, but quickly wrapped up there by Gatlin Zawara. 2nd time we've called his name tonight. Making a good play. Keeping it 3rd and manageable. You know, trying to pick up some of these quick yards here to get this 4th down potentially isn't easier. But you can't be too upset if you're an Elk fan here. You know, keeping it 3rd and long. Hoping to see some potential pressure on the defense, on the quarterback again. As we line up in shotgun. Drew taking the throw. Throwing out to Owen Hewitt. And he will be tackled by Colin McCormick, as well as, I think, was that Jake Moore. Excuse me, Keegan Keel on the tackle as well. As we're lining up again for 4th down. Big play for this Elk squad. As, touchdown. Drew Neer to, who was that? I cannot find a number 0 on this team. Either way, a wonderful throw by Drew Neer, hitting his guy on the seam route there for the early touchdown for this Rambler squad. As they're looking like they're lining up for the extra point here, trying to get a 7-0 lead to start this game. As we're dealing with some technical difficulties on the clock right now. I'm sorry, we just went under 3 minutes in this game. And it should be. Oh, looks like bad snap. Batted away by the defense, you know. The Elks are going to take that, you know, extra point, only 6-point lead for this Boyne City squad. We'll take all those little advantages we can get. And now we're going to send you away for some more words from our wonderful sponsors. This is Next Level Broadcast. Jared Stamen and my wonderful cameraman Ryan out here taking in the beautiful shots of Boyne City. And we'll be right back after a quick.
Life gives us enough to deal with, like doing your taxes, hosting in-laws.
Oh, you're still trying to do the beard thing, huh?
And of course, filing an insurance claim. But luckily, auto owners makes it easy. They pay what they owe without any hassle. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
And welcome back to the Next Level Broadcast. As you can see, a rainbow has formed over the field tonight. A wonderful sign of Northern Michigan football here in the Next Level Broadcasting. A wonderful shot there by our cameraman, Ryan, taking in the beautiful views as we see all around. Storm clouds are in the distance, but as you can see on the field, sun is shining. And it is good mood for these Ramblers as they are going to kick it off to the Elks 6-0 with 2:55 to go in your game. As it is taken up by Flutie. Tackled again, another great return for this Elks offense, or special teams, excuse me. Looking like they got to about the 44-yard line there. Another great start for this team. And, you know, bouncing back on offense here, this team has got to be looking for, you know, a faster start, maybe trying to get a first down within the first couple plays, maybe get into the play of some of their, you know, great playmakers like Drew Darren, who's already made some solid plays so far, but as we all know, he can make some even more spectacular plays. And we're going to line up here, 1st and 10 for your offense. We've got Brandon Flutie under center with Mason Cannon in the backfield. Drew Darren with the handoff, running up the gut. Looking like he got about 3 yards before he ended up getting stepped there. Brandon Hugger there. Oh, excuse me, Brandon Johnson. You know, not a terrible play to start, but kind of more of the same from this offense. You know, very run heavy. They like to keep it on the ball, get into the hands of their playmakers up the gut, trying to tear down this team, make them tired so that they can get that big play down the field and get 6 points on their board for themselves. As we're lining up again, Flutie pump fakes to Darren, and it looked like Cannon got that up for a minimal gain, potentially 2 yards there. Stopped by Hiker McKinney, plus a lot of other Ramblers in there, clogging up that hole for this Elk squad. Curious to see, you know, they ran a couple jet sweeps, you know, trying to get in that outside edge last week, and so far we have not seen much of that, seeming just trying to, you know, get it up the gut. And Brandon Flutie's going to line up again under center with 2 men in the backfield on 3rd down. And it is a play action pass looking for, he complete to Jake Moore. Jake Moore making a couple man miss and getting a great first down play for this Elk offense there. Really like what they tried to do there. You know, the misdirection is really going to be their key here, getting out into the edge and, you know, letting Flutie use his legs to get downfield. You know, potentially these linebackers are going to be sitting really high up there, you know, trying to hit these gaps and stop this run game from getting going. And getting out to the edge and making those throwing guys, you know, getting those tight ends to sneak behind those linebackers is going to be really big there, as you just saw on that first down throw. Under a center again, we've got Flutie with 2 men in the backfield. And Drew Darren with a great first down run. Looking like he got about 8 to 9 yards on that first run. Great start there for that offense. Love to, you know, see, this is kind of exactly their kind of game plan, it looks like. Trying to wear down this front and just get them tired so they can just keep punching them in the mouth as much as they want. And looking like they're going to line back up here on the opponent's 30-yard line for 2nd and 4 yards. See another handoff to Mason Cannon up the middle. Brought down hard by number 52, Hiker McKinney. This defensive line has really been pretty staunch so far, stopping these runs. Other than that first down run a couple plays ago, this Boyne City defensive line is really not letting much get past them. And we're going to see if that's going to continue, if their strength and stamina is going to be there, or if Elk Rapids is going to get the best of them and, you know, they just keep punching them in the mouth and they're going to be the last one standing. As we line up under center yet again seeming to be the popular formation for this squad.
And that's the end of the first quarter.
And the first quarter does come to an end here from Boyne City. 6-0 Boyne City leading your Elks as we are going to hit to break. Jared Stamen and my camera guy Ryan here. We'll be back in just a moment.
Life gives us enough to deal with, like doing your taxes.
Hi, it's Kevin Klein from TVC Airport. We're proud to help keep you connected to high school sports in Northern Michigan, so you can stay in the game all season long with TVC, your Northern Michigan connection.
Hey, Dad, brought you some popcorn. You should relax. You worked so hard for us.
What happened?
It's a little fender bender, but Mom already filed a claim with our agent, and we can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense. Well played.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
And welcome back to Next Level Broadcasting. Jared Stamen here on your mic, and Ryan, my camera guy, bringing you live Northern Michigan football here.
Welcome
As
broadcasting and streaming the game tonight live.
as it looks like your Elks are lining up here under the center. Brady Flute, or Braden Flutie, not Flute, up there for the middle school game on third down.
Tristan Hager. First down, Elk Rapids.
First down for Elk Rapids, and this has been a pretty solid drive for them so far. Getting ready to start the second quarter. And another run for the offense, trying to just like we said earlier, trying to tire out this defense, and they're going to line up under center again. And football. It's a game of stamina. This is tough, and it's pretty risky out here tonight as we see Mason Cannon up the center, seeking contact and getting eaten up not too far up the line. Multiple Ramblers on the tackle, looking like Tristan Agger combined with Thomas Agger. The brothers combining there for a middle school game for the Elks, or for the Ramblers. This, like we just keep saying, this defensive front, man, this is just a hard one to stop. I think you could probably tell here on the camera, number 77, Caden Schoolcraft, is quite the unit out there on that line, plugging up holes and making it hard for this Elk offense to really get anything up the gut for more than a few yards. As we see a shotgun look here for the Elks. Quarterback designed run. Flutie going to make a man miss. Running up for a pretty solid gain of about 7 yards there on second down. Fighting through contact to try to get as many extra yards as he can. Great run by the young quarterback.
Brought down by Braden Joyce.
And Braden Joyce was there on the tackle. So this is a 3rd and 4 for the offense here. One of the easier third downs they've had so far today. Curious to see, I'm assuming this was 4th down territory, potential field goal unit, but they want to get 6 points on the board. They didn't get it in week 1, and I know they're hungry for it here. As another pistol look for the offense. Brandon Flutie with the ball, looking around, and it looks like it was intercepted by Brandon Joyce. Wow. Looked like he might have had Gayton Zarora there for a minute, but quickly making up the ground was Braden Joyce there for the interception for the Ramblers. And that is just not the way you want to start the second half, let alone your second drive. Trying to get points on the board, getting there almost into the red zone. And, I like what they were doing there, trying to take a shot. But, right there, I think you kind of want points. And I think they tried to force a little bit too much there, double coverage a little bit. But great defensive play, not to take anything away from Braden Joyce there. And it looks like he might have caught that right outside the goal line. Now, Now, folks, I might not be the biggest high school savant, but as far as I'm aware, if you catch the ball in the end zone, it is out to the 20-yard line, and they are starting there on the 1, if that. So potential big play here for the Elks to make a stop as Drew Aller lines up in a shotgun, handing it off to his running back, who will get tackled, and it was close there. He barely made it back to the line of scrimmage. And it looks like they're going to say he made it past the goal line. But almost a really bad play, and great play for the Elks there. But again, you're still not too upset if you're the Elks. You know, I think it looks like they're going to give them about a foot to 2 feet on that play there. So, you know, it's still about, they're still on the 1-yard line, their own 1-yard line. And this would be a monumental stop for the Elks here as we are lining up. Looks like same formation for your Ramblers. And Owen Hewitt out wide. Again, tackled for little to no gain there. We're really putting up a good defensive fight here. We love to see this from the Elks. They are hungry, and they can smell the blood right now, and they're trying to jump on it, you know, make up for some of the mistakes their offense may have had and try to get the momentum back on their side. As we're going to see a 3rd and 10 for the Ramblers. And presumably, if they don't get this, guys, looking like a punt is most likely their best option, but it is still 3rd down. So, you know, we're not going to count all our cards until they're on the table. And we've got Drew near in the back, tailed by Brian Hauger. Excuse me, actually, Jamie Joseph up for the carry for about, well, looking like they're going to give him 5 yards there, but it's looking like the punt unit's coming out here for the Ramblers. Yeah, so in some of these warm-ups, we saw number 6, Tanner Kelly, kicking some punts and some extra point field goals, and he's got quite the leg on him. So we'll see how he's going to try and flip the field here for the Ramblers and see if he can make a great offensive play for his defense. Short punt handed by Ben Stanek. Oh, excuse me. Keegan Keel. Keegan Keel with a solid return, getting that ball to about the spot where they turned it over. So great defensive stand by this Elk defense, you know, really negating how major that turnover could have been there, keeping them with decent field position. They're going to be starting on the Ramblers' 30-yard line. Oh, actually, they'll be starting on the Ramblers' 25-yard line. Great field position for these Elks, trying to get their first points of the young 2025 season. Great start for this drive, seeing what they're going to do. Drew Darren with the carry and looking like he's going to get swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage. Another one of those big Rambler fellas getting in there for the tackle. 2nd down and 10, and that's been the real hard drive for this Elks team. They just cannot seem to get anything rolling on these first downs. I think there's only been one drive so far where they've gained more than 2 or 3 yards on a first down. Still, you know, been able to move the ball a lot better than I think they might have even thought. But so far, looking pretty solid as we're lining up under center with Mason Cannon in the backfield. And the ball is going to go to Keegan Keel, trying to make a man miss, and he's going to be swallowed up behind the line of scrimmage there. Another great defensive play from the Ramblers.
Loss of about 5. 3rd down.
And it's going to set up a 3rd and long. Not the way that we wanted to see our Elks try and, you know, take advantage of that field position that their defense blessed them with. But another 3rd and long. But, you know, last week against the East Jordan had, I think it was 3 3rd and 15 pluses that they converted. So, you know, it is very possible. And this Elk squad have some playmakers that they could get the ball out to, as we're going to see under center for Mr. Flutie. And he's going to play action, swinging out right. Oh, and the ball is going to be picked off again. Number 14, Owen Hewitt on the pick. Just trying to force the ball there too much. You know, Braden Flutie has really been pushed out of the pocket. They haven't been giving him much time at all to make any choices. And, you know, he kind of forces him 3rd and 15. You know, the pick doesn't really hurt them too bad, assuming they most likely would have gone for it on 4th down because of the field position. But, you know, you could say that's a bit of a small arm punt, you know, in NFL terms. As, actually, the second game of NFL kicks off tonight. We've got the Chiefs and the Chargers. And I'm hoping a lot of these guys in the audience are not rooting for the Chiefs because Cincinnati Bengals myself. But besides that, high school football is what's on right now. And looking like Elk Rapids is going to take a timeout. And so are we. Actually going to talk about Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. It's time to get away to your dream destination. Like many, that means flying into northern Michigan. Whether you're looking to fly in or out of northern Michigan this fall, look to fly, then take to the sky with TVC. Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport is your best getaway to the world, offering services from Allegiant, American, Delta, Sun Country, and United Airlines. Visit tvcairport.com for up-to-the-minute flight schedules and to book your next getaway today. And also don't forget to check out nextlevelbroadcasting.net to catch all of your local up north games, as well as Elk Rapids. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but they as well. We're streaming on Elk Rapids. What am I saying right now? But make sure to subscribe to Elk Rapids football program, as we're going to see a 1st and 10 for the Boyne City Ramblers. Elk defense hoping to repeat a 3-and-out. And as a hand up the middle, lots of blocks in front of him. He's going to get the edge going down the field. Finally ran out of bounds by Trey Dennis. Owen Hewitt just made the play on the other side of the field with the interception, giving it right back to him for a good pickup of about 20 yards there on 1st down. Defense not exactly as happy as they were last drive, letting a nice chunk run there on 1st down, but trying to see if we can still, you know, get some penetration in that backfield and stop some of these runs before they have a chance to get their momentum. Drew near with the handoff to Owen Hewitt, and he is stuffed up in the backfield. Multiple Elks on that play, looking like number 34, Brody Turner, one of the main guys there first with the tackle. And just like I said, love to see some of these guys get in the backfield and disrupt this offense. Great play. So great starting play after letting up the gain of 20 yards there by multiple Elk defenders. And we're going to see there if we're going to try and, you know, sit back a little bit now that, you know, making them maybe more of a passing down, but looks like they're going to line up in the pistol again with Owen Hewitt in the backfield on 2nd and 12. Play action, looks out, and that is caught. Oh, excuse me, that is dropped by number 8, Ben Stanek. Just dropped a 1st down for this Rambler team, and Elk's got to be pretty happy with that there. You know, like you said, with penalties, you know, you can't control that part of the game. You can't control how much the other team drops the ball or miscues, but you're never going to complain when it helps you out there. And just did, setting them up for 3rd and 12 again, trying to make a big stand here for this offense, or this defense, excuse me. Hand off to Owen Hewitt. Breaking the tackle there, and finally wrapped up by Keegan Keel for a pretty solid gain there of about, looks like 7 yards are going to give him there. Looking like it'd be about a 4th and 5. And they're kind of in that no man's territory. Curious to see what they're going to do here, as we've got under 4 minutes left in our matchup tonight. 4th down, handoff, play action, passing it out wide, and another drop. Throw was a little bit high by Drew near there, but very catchable. 2 hands on the ball for the young wide receiver. But big play by Elk Rapids again. You know, if the Ramblers keep wanting to make mistakes, the Elks are not going to complain there, causing a great defensive stand after the first down 20-yard gain on the offense. Standing strong there and not letting momentum swing in the other direction. As the offenses meet up, just wanted to say, beautiful night here. We looked like there was going to be a lot of rain and wind, and it's been slowly clearing up. There's some blue in the sky. We had the rainbow out here earlier. It's another great Friday night to be under the lights for high school football. As we see our Elks back there on offense, Braden Flutie out there taking the snap. As we see two men in motion there, but doesn't seem like they're going to call the flat. There it goes. Oh, it's looking like it's actually going to be a delay of game on the offense. Didn't seem like they actually had too much of an issue with the two men in motion, but it caused them to be a little off schedule and still getting penalized either way. Not the way you want to start this, but, the drive is still early, and they still have pretty solid field position here. So, all things considered, a lot of worse ways you can start off the drive with a turnover or, an interception, which is also a turnover. But, we're going to see what they're going to do here as they break the huddle on 1st and 15. Looks like Brody Turner is going to be in the backfield here today. And it looks like Braden Flutie is trying to, making a tough play there. Grown man play there with the stiff arm. Would have been a loss of a couple yards, ended up getting a few yards in return. So all things considered, I don't think they're going to be too upset by that play, but would have loved to see some positive yards on the offense. As we're going to see a 2nd and 15. So it looks like they did not gain any yards there. He just got back to the line of scrimmage there. But, you'll take no gains versus losses anytime. And looks like Brandon Flutie is under center. And the motion man there. And it looks like Brody Turner up there, swallowed up by multiple defenders for the Boyne City squad. Looks like there was a timeout by Boyne City trying to preserve some of the clock as we are about to go under 3 minutes here soon, trying to get as many points on this first half as they can. And while they take a quick break, we're going to take a quick break and show you some of our more beautiful sponsors here on the Next Level broadcast. Jared Stamen, Ryan, our wonderful camera guy. We'll be right back.
Hey, Dad. Brought you some popcorn. You should relax. You work so hard.
Today's game is brought to you by Brothers Tree Service, Bingham Insurance Services, Professional Seamless Gutters, Midlake Builders, Pearl's New Orleans Kitchen, Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. We hope you have enjoyed today's game.
And welcome back to your first half of Elk Rapids Boyne City Rambler High School Ball. As we're lining up for a 3rd and 12 for the Elks here, trying to see if we can get some offense on the board. A couple drives into opponent's territory near in the red zone. Seeing if we can punch it in this time as Brandon Flutie is under center. Looks like it was a bad snap and Flutie just had to jump on it. Just tapped in on the ground as he just was trying to save the ball there. 4th down, not a really great look so far for that offense on that drive. A few mistakes, penalty, a false start or delay the game on 1st down there, setting them up for a long 15 yards, and they couldn't get back to the game to the 10 just to get the 1st and 10 again. But looking like they're gonna probably bring out the punt unit here, trying to get some momentum on defense, potentially a turnover. Other than the opening offensive drive for the Ramblers, they've held them to modest gains besides a few chunk plays here and there, but they seem to snuff out anything more than that, not letting this Rambler team start really rambling and running away with it. as it looks like they're going to be going for this fourth down, trying to just get some points on the board no matter what the cost may be. Oh, excuse me, that actually ended up being a punt by Flutie, and is going to bounce back into the end zone. Looking like it could have potentially got stopped right around that 5 to 1 yard line, but yeah, it took a Boyne City bounce into the end zone, unfortunately, setting up a 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Ramblers. You know, under 3 minutes left in this game. Curious to see how the offense is going to be. So far, you know, the Ramblers have been quite aggressive, especially on that first drive, getting multiple throws down the field. The passing touchdown from Drew Neer was a great, I believe it was about a 20-yard throw. So, you know, they have some solid passing offense so far. To see if they're going to try and continue that or milk this clock down and not give Elk Rapids another chance to touch the ball. As we see a few pieces of laundry out on the field, looking like it could be a false start on the offense. Looking like the refs are going to discuss it. Seems some confusion by the players, not too sure what the call actually was for. Looking like Elk Rapids had an extra man on defense there, which was the penalty that they're calling. So it's going to be a 1st and 5 for the Ramblers after the 12-man on field for the Elks. Lining up in the pistol yet again is Neer. Throw a little low for his intended target, number 6, Tanner Kelly. You know, he was getting rushed. Made the throw a little bit quicker than he wanted to, and Elk was there quickly in the backfield to pressure Mr. Neer. As I line back up for the drive, we've got 2 minutes left in this game. And we're going to see Neer in the pistol again, snapping the ball. Looking out to number 5. We see a flag fly and breaking a couple tackles and finally brought down by, looks like by Drew Darren brought him down, but we're going to see what this penalty is quick.
Joseph catches the football. Brought down by Drew Darren.
Refs discussing before looking at it. Looking like it's going to be on the offense here. Yeah, we got a hold against the offense there. Another big break from this Elk defense. It seems like a lot early on this Rambler offense has been beating itself a little bit with some of these penalties, keeping this Elk defense strong and, you know, keeping these young men fresh and ready to make more plays. And we're going to see this is a pretty long field for this offense. Curious to see if they're going to try and air it out here or potentially take this into halftime, but from what I've seen so far, I wouldn't be surprised to see Neer air out that ball a little bit more and try and get another 6 on the board before halftime. And the snap to Neer out of the shotgun. He is scanning down the field and a little bit high. Ooh, looked like it could have been caught there by Keegan Keel on the tip, but that was intended for Owen Hewitt, the star linebacker and running back for the Boyne City Ramblers. And it seems like, you know, they are going to try and air this ball out. You know, it is 3rd down, but at this point after, oh, well, it looks like I missed a little bit of laundry on the field as there is another hold against the Ramblers, pushing them back beyond the 5-yard line, looking like they're going to put them on, oh, maybe they're moving it up a little bit. Oh, they're going to give them an extra 2 yards there, putting it on the Elks, or their own 7-yard line. 93 yards to go here with 2:16 left on the clock. Curious to see what they're going to try and do here, if they're going to milk this clock now or try to make a 93-yard drive. And we're going to see Neer back in the backfield, and he hands it off to Owen Hewitt, who is eventually swallowed up by many Elks there. Drew Darren on the play, as well as many others. I saw Hudson Saylor coming in there for the tackle. They're just trying to wrap all these young guys up and, get their offense back on the field to make some points and, make this game a really exciting one to watch. And if I'm not mistaken, are they going for this ball? Oh, this is third down. Excuse me. I forgot about the penalty. This is third down and about 16. Looking like the screen pass. And they're going to get the first down, finally brought down by, looking like Drew Darren was there on the play and a couple other Elks there. But that was a phenomenal play there. I believe that was Coleman Paquette. Great play by this Ramblers team, getting the ball down the field on a 3rd and long, setting them up for 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line. Near back to throw, looking around, and he's going to be, barely get the ball off. Multiple Elks around him there trying to make the tackle, and he will get that ball off to number 5, Jamie Joseph.
Jamie Joseph on the catch. Mason Cannon on the tackle.
And that was Mason Cannon there wrapping him up, but great play there by the Drew Neer. It looked like he was going to be going down for a loss of yards, but managed to escape there and make, some coaches wouldn't be too happy about that throw, maybe trying to do too much, but, Neer completed the throw, and I don't think coach will be complaining too much. 2nd and 4. Out to Owen Hewitt. He will make a man miss. Make 2 man misses. He goes down the sideline. And a 3rd, and he seems like he is going to be gone. Looks like he is tackled just at the end there by Gatlin Zawara, saving a tackle there saving a 6 points there from the Elks. Wow, Owen Hewitt making plays out there. I believe there was 3, and there might have even been a 4th man that he broke their ankles. And we're going to see them line up here. Power quarterback play. And it looks like he is going to be in for the touchdown. Touchdown Ramblers. That is Drew Neer on the touchdown. Curious to see here if they're going to try and line up for 2 points, get this to a 14-0 lead, or just take their one. As it looks like, they're going to be, I do see the kicker out there, but you also out there on a lot of plays. Tanner Kelly, that is, number 6. Looking like they're going to be going for 2 points here, trying to get this to a 14-0 lead as it is handed off to Owen Hewitt. And he will walk in for 2 more points for the Boyne City Ramblers. Well, 93-yard drive we just saw from that offense. Sparked by a couple big plays, the biggest one being Owen Hewitt there, on a quick little drag route, making a few man miss, getting down there for another score for the Ramblers. Elks still looking to get some points on the board, but they've had some promise, 0 points is not the whole story this game. They've gotten to close to that end zone very many times, and their defense has, they didn't look maybe the great that last drive, but they're tired. They're out there making plays. Lots of TFLs they're going for. It gets tiring out there for those guys, and looks like the Ramblers are so far the team with a little bit more stamina. And we've got 38 seconds left here in the first half. Looking like they are going to be kicking it off there. 2 guys in the back for the Elks. We've got Braden Flutie as well as Keegan Keel.
Tanner Kelly to kick off.
And Tanner Kelly with the boot. And Braden Flutie will pick that up, trying to take this left up the sideline, making a man miss and getting tackled down finally by number, looks like by a number 6, Dennis Tonic. First and 10 from Elk Rapids. Got 32 seconds left on the game clock here. You know, if I'm the Elks coach right here, I'm thinking, let's just get our guys into halftime. Let's readdress. Just let up a long defensive drive. No need to make any big mistakes here to put ourselves in a bigger hole. You know, let's go in, do what we need to do to potentially turn this game around and get some points on the board for ourselves. As we do see Flutie here in the pistol. And he is going to pass the ball. Looking around there. Pressure by number 50, trying to make a play out of nothing, Braden Flutie. And he will be tackled out of bounds. Big loss of about 10 yards by, looked like number 73. Finally got out there for him. Seemingly thinking that they're just going to let this clock run out here. As it looks like they are. Well, that is your first half of Elk Rapids at Boyne City Ramblers. This has been the Next Level broadcast. Make sure to like and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube, and check out our Instagram as well. Posting a lot of highlights there, you know. Tell your kids about it. I'm sure they'd love to share it with some of their friends, as we've been sharing tons of reels, creating a bunch of highlights for this last week one of football, and there are going to be just as many more for week 2. We're going to take a quick break here at the Next Level broadcast and send in some commercials for you guys. This is Jared Stamen, Ryan, my cameraman, for the Next Level broadcast. We will be right back.
Today's game is brought to you by Brother.
Life gives us enough to deal with, like doing your taxes, hosting in-laws.
Oh, you're still trying to do the beard thing, huh?
And of course, filing an insurance claim. But luckily, Auto Owners makes it easy. They pay what they owe, without any hassle. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
Now's the time to fly from your Northern Michigan hometown Cherry Capital Airport. TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now.
Hi, I'm Orion, but you might know me for my business, Professional Seamless Gutters, where we specialize in, you guessed it, everything gutters. New installations, replacements, cleaning, leaf guards, rain chains, and much more. But unlike other service providers, when you call Professional Seamless Gutters, you get me, Orion, not some bum intern or call center recording. So when you're contemplating any services regarding your gutters on your home or pole barn, think Professional Seamless Gutters.
Today's game is brought to you by Brothers Tree Service, Bingham Insurance Services, Professional Seamless Gutters, Mid-Lake Builders, Pearl's New Orleans Kitchen, Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. We hope you have enjoyed today's game.
And welcome back to the Next Level broadcast, coming to you live from Boyne City Stadium. As we're about to see this Boyne City Marching Band, you know, in the background do their little numbers, we're going to talk about some game notes and some things that, you know, we'd like to see from our Elks and some things we'd like to see them improve upon. As your score at the halftime is 14-0. Your Elks are down 0 points. But, you know, a lot of things to work on as we were talking about earlier. And the really big thing so far has been just the trenches. It's been who can own the trenches to get offense. And so far, that has been the Ramblers. They have just constantly, their center guard combo is just getting plenty of space for Owen Hewitt to run up the gut, as well as their quarterback, Drew Neer, who has just taken a touchdown, he ran for the touchdown after a long play from his star running back, Owen Hewitt, who has been phenomenal so far in this game. Big play on offense, as well as a pick for defense from the linebacker position. And that's really been the thing that has been haunting this Elk offense because their defense has been playing good. You know, the Ramblers have been making a few miscues and, you know, put themselves in some difficult spots that they have not been able to get out of because the Elk defense will not let them. But then on offense, you know, Brandon Flutie has thrown 2 picks. First one was trying to maybe force the ball a little bit too much. They've kept it on the ground pretty consistently so far, and looks like he maybe tried to force the first throw as they were under the 20-yard line in the red zone, looking like they might have had the score. But that's the point. They're getting to the red zone, but then they're just making self-inflicted wounds that is causing them to not get on the scoreboard yet. But I do think we are going to see a different change. You know, this coach has a lot of promise and a lot of talent to work with. It's just getting these little kinks ironed out in the rope. And, you know, not to discredit anything that Boyne City has done. I mean, we mentioned it earlier. They beat Alpino week 1, who was a D2 school, and they've got at least 3 times the player base of this Boyne City squad, and they did beat them 18-13. And, you know, that is a great start for this Rambler team, and it's definitely, you can see the momentum. You know, they believe in themselves. They had that tough week 1, and they ended up going in there and winning. So, you know, they know that they can win this game, and so far it has shown that they have that belief in. But to be honest, I think they'd like to be up a little bit more than 14-0. It's been a pretty decent half for them offensively. You know, the last drive, they did go on a 93-yard drive with less than 3 minutes left. Definitely the most impressive so far. A couple great throws and a great play by Owen Hewitt, making about 4-man miss there. But I'd like to see them clean up some of the turnovers, the Elks that is, and just really try and get more in the backfield, try to get a couple losses, get those 3rd and longs, 4th and longs, make it obvious what this Rambler team is going to be doing. And offensively for the Elks is really, I'd like to see them get out into the edge a little bit more. Potentially, you know, screen plays. Those are a great way to get some of your playmakers involved, as well as just maybe using the legs of Brandon Flutie a little bit more, a little bit of play action that has been some of their success. Curious to see what they're going to do here as we're actually going to take a little quick break and talk about Brothers Tree Service. Brothers Tree Service has been providing exceptional service in northern Michigan since 2005. And this year, they're celebrating 20 years of tree and plant. So the next time that you are in need of a tree, see what Brothers Tree Service can do for you online at brotherstreeservice.net. Pearl's New Orleans Kitchen Elk is another one of our players that we will, at the end of the game, call Pearl's Pearl's Player of the Game, Last week for the Elks, it was Keegan Keel, number 8, making multiple plays on defense to keep that Kalkaska team limited to 10 points. And the hardest working player was Jake Moore for the Elks. Curious to see who we're going to be calling today for these hardest working players. So far, you know, I got to say that Brody Turner is a name. 34 has been on defense all over the place. I've seen him make multiple tackles so far. Definitely a name to be putting in that ring, as well as Keegan Keel been making some other great defensive plays and some couple offensive plays as well. But we still got a whole nother half of football to play for you guys, and curious to see if there's going to be any crazy plays so far. Maybe some trickery out of this Elk team. You know, it's been 6 quarters so far, 0 points on the board, so you know, if I'm the coach right now, it's not time to hit the panic button. Don't get me wrong, we're not there yet. But I'd like to see them potentially try and, you know, mix some things up. Last week they ran a good amount of jet sweeps and trying to get some, you know, heat off the edge with some of their speed. And we have not seen any of that so far. A couple motion plays, but, you know, motions have been more of a distraction offensively. So we're going to see how they do there. As Midlake Builders is one of our kind sponsors for this video, and they'd like to tell you that football is a game predicted on facing adversity in order to accomplish one goal. In many ways, so is constructing your perfect dream home, and Midlake Builders is here to help you and your family accomplish just that. Whether you were starting a new build or renovating a current one, Midlake Builders has the experience, expertise, and most importantly, the staffing to get your project done on time. That's Midlake Builders, proud to be an official sponsor of the hardest working player of the game. And that is our second award that we, like I said, have some names potentially on the board so far, but you know, we got another half to play, and we could see some fireworks, man. It only takes one play to keep the momentum swinging from one side to the other. As we are going to send it quickly to commercial here, Jared Stamen, streaming here live from Boyne City with my wonderful cameraman Ryan here, as we're going to send you guys to some ads.
Today's game is brought to you by Brothers Tree Service, Bingham Insurance Services, Professional Seamless Gutters, Midlake Builder.
Hi, it's Kevin Klein from TVC Airport. We're proud to help keep you connected to high school sports in Northern Michigan, so you can stay in the game all season long with TVC, your Northern Michigan connection.
Hey, Dad, brought you some popcorn. You should relax. You worked so hard for us.
What happened?
It's a little fender bender, but Mom already filed a claim with our agent, and we can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense. Well played.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
Today's game is brought to you by Brothers Tree Service, Bingham Insurance Services, Professional Seamless Gutters, Midlake Builders, Pearl's New Orleans Kitchen, Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. We hope you have enjoyed today's game.
And we're back live from Boyne City Stadium. Looking like the sun has kind of gone away, clouds coming in. Looking like there might be a chance for rain here on this Friday night. It's been a little bit hit or miss. Strong winds here. Not as much on the field, but earlier today there was winds gusting upwards of 40 miles per hour. So I'm sure some of you guys lost your hats out there as the weather seems to be calming down a little bit. Sprinkles here and there. Not seeming like it's going to be raining as of now, but, you know, the man upstairs has a funny way of playing with the weather in Northern Michigan, as we all know. And we've got less than 5 minutes till our second half kickoff, and wanted to check in on some of our other games of the week. Gaylord St. Mary's of Central Lake. Got Charles Strail down there, the head honcho of Next Level Broadcasting. Wonderful guy. If you guys have met him, I'm sure you've got a story or two to tell. But that game right now is looking at 21-12. Gaylord St. Mary is up, as we're going to check in on some of our other games here if we can get them working here. East Jordan versus Johannesburg. Looking like not seeing a score. It looks like we're on ad right now, but Sheboygan and Charlevoix, another one of our marquee matchups that we were talking about today. Sheboygan having a great win last week, and as well as Charlevoix. So both undefeated coming into this game, and it is 7-6. Looking like the Raiders are up entering halftime, or starting halftime. So our Raider fans seemingly pretty happy about that one, as we're going to see if we can get that East Jordan game here pulled up. Well, it's looking like we're still on ad there, but looking like we've seen some of the Boyne City Ramblers warm up there on the sidelines. They got to be feeling good so far, you know, putting up 14 points, pitching a shutout here. Can't ever complain when when your defense allows 0 points. Get your offense all that much time to score there. Curious to see what the next quarter brings to us as the Elks are also out there warming up there, doing their team drills, and it's really been Boyne City's game as we've seen, and curious to see if anything's going to change with that, but so far not looking too good, as our East Jordan game here is now on, and East Jordan is up 22-0 over Johannesburg. We were thinking that Johannesburg was going to be an easier win for East Jordan, but, you know, it was early in the year, and no one really knows these teams yet. You know, you think you know them, but next time, then you start playing them, and, oh, my goodness, that quarterback better than I thought, or, wow, that wide receiver's got that 4.2 speed I didn't know he had. So some of these guys out here, there's one thing to watch film, or on a whole nother year of development can go a long way. Some of these guys can shoot up multiple inches in 1 year, and you think you got little Tommy on the sideline who's never going to play, and next thing you know, he's a 6'5" wide receiver that you got to guard. So, you know, still a lot of time to play, but East Jordan taking the early advantage. And looks like they're going to keep it Braden Flutie out there. Last week there was a little bit of I don't know if you want to say controversy or quarterback battle, but Ollie Tramwell, the sophomore, number 2, has been taking a couple reps last week and trying to fight for his role starting varsity his sophomore year. But Flutie does seem to have it under the realms for now. You know, great athletic quarterback. He's had a few great plays here. Great return man. That has really been his strength so far. You know, he's had some great plays at quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but he's had two. I think it might have even been 3 returns to about the 50-yard line. So he set his offense up in some pretty good positions as the Ramblers run back towards their bench, getting ready for this second half after warm-ups. Because it is a cold one out there, folks, as you can see in the crowd. Everyone's pretty bundled up with their windbreakers and whatnot. It is feeling like a crisp, potentially winter day up here in Boyne City, but thankfully that weather should not be lasting too much longer, as the 70s are going to sneak back in next week, probably one last week before we go to a classic up north winter. Lots of cold, but the fall, but let's not jump the gun yet. We still have yet to see the fall colors turn, and what a wonderful time to be up here. And as under 30 seconds left in this intermission go, wanted to talk real quick. I mentioned earlier our Instagram account, Next Level Broadcasting. Great place for your kids to find highlights of themselves, share to your grandparents, aunts, nieces, nephews, anyone you know. Great spot. We've been really working on making highlight reels for these young guys and just making them feel like the all-stars that they are. And that is Next Level Broadcasting on Instagram, and as well as nextlevelbroadcasting.net to catch all 5 of our games each and every Friday. And in case you didn't know, we've got Charlevoix, East Jordan, Elk Rapids, Traverse City St. Francis, and Gaylord St. Mary's as our main squads, but that doesn't mean that we don't have any more love for some of these other schools like the Boyne City Ramblers. You know, they're our up north team, and even though we might have a little bias towards Elk Rapids tonight or Charlevoix on another day, we're still going to root for our boys up north to compete and, you know, bring football up to here. And who knows, you know, Elk Rapids a few years ago now, Adam Trotman ended up going to the University of Dayton, which, as many of you probably do not know, is my original hometown. I'm actually not a Michigander, unfortunately. I come from the state down under, and Adam Trotman, the guy from Elk Rapids, ended up playing there for a couple years until he got drafted to the Saints as a tight end. Wonderful player, great story for Elk Rapids and, you know, my little school of University of Dayton. As some of you may know, known for basketball, not really football. They have not really made much of any sort of round as far as I've been alive, which I guess to some isn't too long, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Basketball seems to be their macho, but Adam Trotman, a wonderful Elk Rapid alum, someone we're actually trying to get on the show potentially. So, hey, if any of you guys have any connections with Adam Trotman, tell him the Next Level Broadcasting team would love to have him on and pick his brain on some of this up north football and, you know, how Elk Rapids helps shape him as an NFL player. So make sure to hit him up if you guys have any knowledge. We'll take that here. And before we start our second half, we're going to do a quick commercial break. Jared Stamen here along with Ryan, our wonderful cameraman, and we will.
Today's game is brought to you by Brothers Tree Service.
Now's the time to fly from your northern Michigan hometown Cherry Capital Airport, TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now.
Hey, Dad, brought you some popcorn. You should relax. You worked so hard for us.
What happened?
It's a little fender bender, but Mom already filed a claim with our agent, and we can track the status right from the app. Auto owners pays what they owe without any hassle.
Sounds like simple human sense. Well played.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
And we're back for our second half of football up here in Boyne City, Michigan, as the Elks are down by 14 points to start this half, kicking off to the Boyne City Ramblers. And in the backfield, returning the kick, we've got number 14, Owen Hewitt, as long as looks like Tanner Kelly out there to return it. As the kick goes off, and Owen Hewitt returns, breaking one tackle and finally being brought down there by, I think that was Drew Darren. It sure was Drew Darren. Multiple plays on this squad already. Actually, excuse me, that actually was Keegan Keel on the tackle. Another playmaker all over the place here for this Elks defense. And going to see here what the Raiders are going to do. I mean, the Ramblers are going to do here to start. Had a pretty strong half, pretty much getting away with anything they wanted besides one or two drives. Seeing if they're going to keep it on the ground or let Drew Neer air it out a little bit more as he lines up. And that is a handoff to Jamie Joseph, brought down by Keegan Keel again for a about 13-yard gain there on first down. And that is a great way to start the half for this team. Just the way they drew it up, hoping to get an early lead, get this ball rolling on the offense as they line up quickly again for another first 10. And as a handoff to Jamie Joseph, and he is tackled up. Multiple Elks there on the play, looking like Colin Shockley as well as Travin Malboff. 4-yard gain on first down. Looking to see if they're going to keep it on the well. 21 for the Elks. Jake Moore has to be called off the field by a ref, being replaced by number 50, Hudson Saylor, on that offensive line, left tackle. Pretty big position to be switching up mid-game here. Injury is something we never want to see in our wonderful sport of football, but unfortunately it is a violent sport and they do happen. Curious to see here if Hudson Saylor is going to come in seamlessly at that left tackle spot. That is the defensive end. As Drew Neer snaps the ball to Jamie Joseph. And he is brought down by Hudson Saylor along with Connor Carlisle. And they're really having their way on this edge so far. Last week, our wonderful commentator Eric was out there. And one of the things that he mentioned to me going into this game was they could not set the edge defensively, and they just kept getting beat out wide. And so far to start this half, that has been true. Oh, another defensive break for the Elk Rapids Elks as another penalty, false start for the Ramblers. Interesting to see. That has really been the only thing that's been really stopping this Ramblers team has been themselves. Offensively, they've looked pretty good, and even they kind of, funny enough, the first pick they caught ended up being on the 1-yard line, if that, which ended up hurting them more than it helped them, almost butting up a safety. But they've still stayed strong, letting up 0 points so far as we have 1st and 15. Owen Hewitt out left. Wow, another great run by him. About 20 yards, finally brought him down by who else but Brody Turner. Looking like he is going to be one of the hardest working players for this Elks squad, running up and down the field, trying to make as many plays as he can for his defense, trying to climb back into this game and keep it to 2 possessions, not trying to let anything get too out in front of them as Ramblers line up in the same formation again. And that is Jamie Joseph breaking a tackle. Saylor can't bring him down. One more man to beat, and he will get there. Jamie Joseph with a strong run, breaking a few tackles to get into the end zone. And that edge, they just cannot seem to set, the Elks. As we got a touchdown on the board for Boyne City. Not really the way you want to start the second half if you're the Elks, but you haven't seen your offense go out there yet, so too early to jump the gun, but not the momentum surely on the Ramblers side there, coming out of half with a strong look, scoring in less than 3 minutes. As they are going to go for 2 points here. It's going to up to Owen Hewitt, who will walk into the end zone again for another 2-point conversion. He has been quite money on 2-point conversions, 2 for 2 so far, looking like they ran the same play there yet again. Next Level Broadcast, this is Jared Stamen and Ryan, our wonderful camera guy, and we're going to send you over to some quick ads real quick, and we'll be right back with you.
Today's game is brought to you by Brothers Tree Service, Bingham Insurance Services, Professional Seamless Gutters, Mid-Lake Builders, Pearl's New Orleans Kitchen, Traverse City Cherry Capital Airport. We hope you have enjoyed today's game.
And welcome back as we take a peek into the Boyne City Rambler huddle as they get back on the field to kick the ball off to your Elk Rapids Elks. Now I gotta say, Elk Rapids you kind of would expect them to be the Elks naturally, but as someone who was announcing this game live, I gotta say sometimes the Elk Rapid Elks just doesn't sound right out of your mouth, thinking that they're gonna be the Elk Rapid Buccaneers or something, but no, they are the Elk Rapid Elks, which again makes sense, but one of those things when you kind of say it out loud, it sounds a little bit funny. So we're gonna see Tanner Keller, you kick it off for your Elk Rapid Elks. A little bit of a squib kick here. Flutie picking it up and getting eaten up there by number 5, Jamie Joseph. Making the play last drive to get the touchdown and then making the tackle there on the kickoff. Got to be feeling himself pretty good as the momentum is very much so on this side. As you can see Owen Hewitt there grouping up his secondary, trying to get them dialed in for this play. Momentum really big here. If the Elks can get on the board, it makes this more of a game, puts a little bit more pressure on this Ramblers team to continue putting points on the board. Big swing here and much needed points. And looks like they are going to be lining up here under center again with Braden Flutie. Play action pass rolling out to his right. Oh, and a little bit underthrown and right into Owen Hewitt.
Owen Hewitt picks it off.
Tackled again by Hudson Saylor there. And that will be the second pick for Owen Hewitt, third pick for Brandon Flutie. Not really got to be too happy. Trying to make a throw on the run, pressured. Just couldn't get enough mustard on that ball to get it over the linebacker's head there. And that's another turnover for the Elks offense. And Owen Hewitt just been making plays all over the board. I mean, very impressive showing here for him. 2 picks on defense, and I know at least 1 touchdown on offense, multiple big runs, and a couple 2-point conversions in his name as well. As we see Neer lined up here in the pistol for 1st and 10 on their bonus territory. And Bruin Hauger there for a nice run there on 1st down. Looks like that was his first rep at running back there, and what a good rep there. As we can see the rain starting to come down here on Friday Night Football. You know that these young guys out there, they don't mind the weather. They're just happy to be out there playing the game that they love so much. And we're just happy to be bringing it to you guys live. 1st and goal here from the 7-yard line. Curious to see what Drew Neer is going to be doing here at quarterback. Lined up in the pistol. Handing it back off to his running back, Bruin Hauer. Hudson Saylor there, another tackle for the young man. He's been making a lot of plays. They subbed him in there at tackle after Jake Moore went out with an apparent wrist injury. He looked like he was grabbing his arm, but the ref was also targeting him, so it could have been a concussion. We don't know here yet. But we got second and goal here for the Ramblers. Here will take the ball, hand it off. Oh, play action. Ooh, Owen Hewitt with the ball, trying to extend to get into the end zone, but he will be tackled. Looking like just a yard, or looks like less than a yard short there. Almost punching it in. Making a great tackle there at the end of the play to save the touchdown. But third and goal here. This could be a big stand for this defense. If they could get in here and, turn the ball, or not turn the ball over. Well, turn the ball over would be phenomenal for this defense, but likely get a stop, potentially force 3, or a turnover on downs, as we're going to see them line up in their lovely pistol formation that they seem to really love. Ooh, false start on the left tackle there for the Ramblers, and another self-imposed injury from their offense. I believe that was number 52, Hiker McKinney. And he's made some great plays on defense, that McKinney has. And, first miscue on offense there, but, it is still week 2, and it is early into the year, and it's cold weather. It's kind of making you want to flinch. This is the weather. You want to be bundled up under a blanket. Unless you're these guys, I'm sure there's really nowhere else they'd rather be, but maybe these Elk Rapid guys are getting ready for the bus ride home. But like I said, there's still a lot of game left to be played, and one turnover changes everything. And we're going to see if they can get that turnover here on third and goal. As Owen Hewitt, very patient runner back there, reminded me a little bit of Le'Veon Bell with the way that he was reading his gaps and waiting for his hole to open. And that's another touchdown there for the Boyne City Ramblers. And they're up to 28 points. Here, and our clock is a little off here. We've got 7:38 left on the game clock here in the third quarter. 2 quick touchdowns from the Boyne City offense, and they go for 2. Little end around to Owen Hewitt, and he will be swallowed up. Multiple Elks there on the play. 56, Colin Shockley there, but looks like there's going to be a face mask on the defense, and they're going to be lining up for this again. So they're going to line up here for another try of the second of the 2-point conversion. So far, 2 for 2 on the day. Both of them going to Owen Hewitt. As Owen Hewitt actually just got his first official touchdown to complement as many other accolades so far this game. Lined up in the pistol again. Low snap. I don't know. It looks like, and they got there. Jamie Joseph ringing that one in there for the Ramblers. And real quick, as they just got their 2-point conversion, we're going to take a quick break and talk about Sky Media 45. Need to enhance your brand? Sky Media 45 combines excellent photography with post-production to create stunning video and image content. Showcase your community, event, or business with our expert aerial solutions. We're ready to fly to you. Visit us at skymedia45.com. Also want to take another quick word and talk about Bingham Insurance Company. Actually, we're going to hold that thought, as it looks like they're going to go out there, and Tanner Kelly's getting ready to kick this ball back to the Elk offense. Still trying to get their first points of the season so far. The game now score is correct. 30-0. Ramblers up. And Tanner Kelly ready to take this big leg. Oh, and it looks like he's going to squib it. It is bobbled multiple times. Colin McCormick just trying to jump on the ball and maintain possession for the Elks, as he could not seem to get his hands on that ball. Weather potentially playing an impact on that role, as we did see the rain coming down earlier. It looks like it has stopped now, but You know, those leather balls, they soak up the water. I don't know if you guys have ever been on the beach tossing the ball around and someone throws it in the water, and next thing you know, everyone's dropping balls all over the place. Elk offense here trying to make some positive strides like they did in the first half. They did make a couple trips there to the opponent 30-yard line, seeing if they can get back to that territory and potentially punch it in for their first touchdown of the season. With Flutie under center, we got Drew Darren in motion. And Mason cannonball on his way through the defense for a nice 5-yard gain on first down. And that's got to be one of the better runs that they've had on first down for this offense. They've been really struggling to get the ball rolling on first down, almost running it exclusively on first down, leading to multiple 2nd and 8, 2nd and 9, sometimes even 2nd and 10s, and there's been a few TFLs in there, but good start so far in the second half after their first drive. It didn't really pan out so well. Looking to see if they potentially try to, set the edge on offense, get a guy around the corner. As we got Flutie under center, motion man. And it's looking like we're seeing a fumble signal. Boyne City thinks that they have the ball, and that was carried by Trey Dennis. And it's looking like it's going to be a turnover. Trey Dennis loses the ball, and it is scooped up after looking down the pile. They finally found the Rambler defender with the ball, and that's going to be the 4th turnover, I believe, for this Elk Rapids offense. Not the way that they wanted to start week 2. It just seems like it is snowballing for them, and they cannot seem to get it to stop. Whatever hype or halftime thing that their coach said, the Boyne City Ramblers, it seemed to work because they've turned it up a notch. Looking like they could score their 3rd touchdown in the 3rd quarter here with still over 6 minutes left in the 3rd. And Elk Rapids is going to take a timeout here, and so are we. Talking about Bingham Insurance Company. During the course of each and every day, we all face an abundance of risks. Some that we don't even consider, some we do. For protection against the foreseeable and unforeseeable risks is where Bingham Insurance Company comes in, capable of providing coverage for your home, auto, life, and even pet insurance. They do it all. That's Bingham Insurance Services, a trusted and proud auto owners insurance affiliate. Well, now that was a bit of a mouthful right there. I cannot lie. Auto owners insurance affiliate. A lot of A's in that word. Those 4 words. And we're going to see the Elk Rapids defense take the field again, hoping to stop the onslaught that has been the Rambler offense. 2 drives, 2 dominant-looking touchdowns. They have really seemed to turn it up to another level this half, and Elk Rapids just have not been able to match that intensity, but hoping to see if they can get some points here or stop the points from going on and maybe make a little bit of momentum or just start feeling good about next week as we see Owen Hewitt tackled in the backfield by number 12, Braden Flutie. Making a great play on defense there, the young quarterback and return man. He kind of is a little Swiss Army knife for that Elk Rapids squad. Doing a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
2nd down.
And now we got a 2nd and 12. And that is a good start for the defense. They're showing they're not demoralized. They're still going to fight until that clock hits 0. As we see another pistol formation. Drew handed it off to Bruin Hauger. And that was Henry Veith with a tackle there, setting up a 3rd and manageable for this squad as we just got under 6 minutes to go in our 3rd quarter. Already 2 touchdowns seen. This is our 5th possession of the second half. And we're going to see if they're going to continue this parade of points or if the Elk Rapids are going to tell them no and make a stand here as we're setting up for a 3rd and 5. And that is handed off to Tanner Kelly. And it looks like there's going to be a flag, looking like it could be a face mask on the defense. No, but it looks like it's actually going to be going against the offense again. Now, this has really been the Ramblers' worst. The biggest defense for the Ramblers has been the Ramblers here. Multiple penalties, pushing them back behind schedule, and making them make some decisions that offensively they haven't really wanted to make. But they're still staying pretty strong here. Not exactly too upset with the way they've played so far, putting 30 on the game, as we're going to see them line up here on 3rd and 15. And there is Owen Hewitt there, trying to get to the first down, getting pretty close there. Bringing a 4th down. It looks like they're going to mark that. Oh, let's see. About 7, no, maybe more like 8 yards short. But a solid gain to make it a 4th and manageable. And, if I'm the Ramblers here, let's put the pedal to the metal. I don't think they're going to be punting this ball anytime soon. I think they're going to be going for it here. And that is the choice that they seem to be going with as the offense stays out there. 4th and 8, looking to make a great play. Drew near with the ball, being pressured, but he gets out of the pocket for the first down. Finally tackled by none other than Brody Turner. Brody Turner is really the bright spot so far on this offense. Been making a lot of defensive plays. Got a nose for the football. He knows where that ball seems to be going, but they just are having a hard time with this front. This front is really just, the trenches have been hard to overcome for the Elk Rapids. I mean, you can just see the size difference out there. Boyne City has got some real farm boys, you could say, out there, just pancaking guys, hitting blocks, and there's hard-mouth football. And Elk Rapids is having a hard time competing with just the sheer size of the Rambler offensive line. And looks like there was a timeout by the offense there. And as they take a timeout, we're going to take a timeout and talk about Pearl's New Orleans Kitchen in Elk Rapids. Come into Pearl's and experience a taste of Louisiana right in the heart of northern Michigan. Located in Elk Rapids, Pearl's is a Louisiana kitchen where an infusion of flavor awaits you. That's Pearl's Louisiana Kitchen, a proud sponsor of Elk Rapids football on Next Level Broadcasting. Pearl's is also a proud sponsor of the Player of the Game this year, providing a $10 gift card during their next meal at Pearl's. And we've still yet to name a player for the Pearl's Player of the Game. And, it's been a little bit difficult so far to name one. I mean, I think we could all agree that one of the biggest bright spots has been Brody Turner. But, I really like Hudson Saylor out there. They threw him in there at left end once Jake Moore got hurt. And he's been trying, his effort. You can't teach effort, Sometimes the plays aren't always there, but if the effort's there, the coaches will see it, and they'll make plays. And Hudson Saylor is only a sophomore playing against this big senior squad in the Ramblers, so you've got to be happy with what you've seen from him so far as a coach. As we're lining up for 1st and 10. Near's back there to throw. Oh, a little bit late, but he has got that completed to Jack Van Zee for a 25-yard touchdown pass. Great play. Looks like he saw him there a little bit late, but he was so wide open there in that end zone that even a little bit of the late throw didn't seem to matter. As Boyne City is going to be going up 36-0. Oops. As we've got a 2-point conversion coming up here. See if they can go 4 for 4 as Near's in the backfield passing it, and is going to be incomplete pass intended for Carter Van Horn.
4:11 left in the third quarter. The Ramblers lead 36-0.
And as we're going to go, as the 2-point conversion was not successful, we are going to go into a quick commercial break. We'll be right with you, Jared Stamen, a wonderful cameraman, Ryan here, the Next Level Broadcasting live from Boyne City.
Now's the time to fly from your Northern Michigan hometown Cherry Capital Airport. TVC. TVC Airport will get you to your dream destination anywhere in the world. Visit tvcairport.com now.
And welcome back to the studio. Next Level Broadcasting, Jared Steinman here with my cameraman Ryan. Filming what has been a bit of a lopsided game here in Boyne City. Ramblers up 36-0 against your Elk Rapids as Tanner Kelly's going to kick it off again. Picked up clearly this time from Colin McCormick, trying to make some guys miss. As he gets up to about the 35-yard line. Solid return there. That has been one of the bright spots, I would say, for the Elk Rapids. Their special teams has been pretty solid there. You know, they haven't had a lot of chances to punt, going for a lot of fourth downs, and the turnovers there forcing them to give the ball over. But when it's come to return games, they've really been solid and gotten multiple balls plus past the 40-yard line, past the 35. You guys got to be feeling pretty good about, you know, when it's a game like this, you got to take the bright spots and really try to, you know, appreciate what you're doing in the game. And that's one of them that I think that they should be happy about. As we're seeing a 1st and 10 for Brandon Flutie. Drew Darren in motion. Pick, looks like big Brody Turner there with the ball. Looks like he might be running more of the fullback look for them, the hard-nosed runner. Just, you know, one of those guys where when they know they're going to have a hard run, that's the guy they're going to give it to. There's the hard-nosed football, you know, the Cam Scatabo, you could say, of your team. And the Elks are going to line up here on 2nd and 7. You know, another pretty solid first down gain for them. Not too much to complain about. And we're going to see a motion man, and it is going to be Brody Turner again there.
Brody Turner on the carry.
And he's just trying to eat up this block. And down 36 points here. You're realistically not playing for, you know, a win. You're playing for pride, and you're playing to show your squad there's a reason you came out here to compete. And that's to score points and to feel good about yourselves. And I think that they're going to get here. I think, you know, it has been almost 4 quarters of scoreless football. I mean, 7 quarters of scoreless football for this team. And I know they're hungry for the end zone. And I think eventually they're going to get so hungry that they don't care what it takes to get there. As we see Brody Turner turning the corner there, getting out to the edge, and getting the first down there. And that's a hard run right there from Brody Turner. And he's that guy. He's not afraid of contact. And I'm glad to see them putting some fresh legs out in the backfield. And kind of something I've been hinting at all game is getting that edge. You know, they ran a lot of sweeps last week, and they just have not really seemed to think that was a good part of their game plan, and they have not really done a lot of it. Not a full sweep that play, but an outside run to the right side, and it ended up being a first down there, 6-yard gain, as this sets up a first down for this Elk Rapids offense. Flutie under center there. Lining up in the, well, actually, he's in the pistol. As it's going to be a quarterback run. Flutie going up the gut. Getting tackled there by number 5, Jamie Joseph. Another name we've been calling a few times tonight. One of the few running backs in the backfield for the Ramblers. Hard-nosed player just trying to get those guys off the field. And we're lining up here. Just under 30 seconds left in this third quarter of football. As we see another motion there, and he's going to make a couple of guys miss before getting taken down there. Looking like he got the first down, and that is Trey Dennis. Making up, excuse me, actually that is Henry Veith. And that's a good run right there for them. As we are going to let the third quarter come to an end here in Boyne City. And as they take a timeout, we're going to take a timeout ourselves. And real quick, we're going to mention we got 2 players to call in this fourth quarter. We've got the Pearls New Orleans player of the game as well as the Mid-Lake Builders hardest working player of the game. We'll be talking about those more in this fourth quarter as we're going to send you to a quick commercial break. Jared Stamen, Ryan, our cameraman, Next Level Broadcast. We'll be right back.
Life gives us enough to deal with, like doing your taxes, hosting in-laws.
Oh, you're still trying to do the beard thing, huh?
And of course, filing an insurance claim. But luckily, Auto Owners makes it easy. They pay what they owe, without any hassle. That's simple human sense.
Ask Bingham Insurance Services in Charlevoix if auto owners make sense for you.
And as the players take the field to start this fourth quarter, we are going to get started on the end of this game, as we are going to see if these Elk Rapids Elks can get some points on the board in this 2025 season. As we see the snap is going to be to Darren. I believe it was Darren. Oh, I actually was fooled by the quarterback. That was Henry Vith there on the carry. And Carter Van Horn there on the tackle. This is going to bring up a 2nd and 8, two yards on first down. Pretty typical so far of what we've seen from this Elk Rapids offense. Just trying to, this point in the game, take some clock off. And I can actually see on the sideline there, we got Ollie Tramwell warming up the arm. Curious to see if we're going to see him take any reps at quarterback at all in this game, or if they're just going to stick it out with the starter. And we've got 2nd and 8. Flutie passing that off to Veith. And he's going to be taken down by multiple Ramblers. Thomas Agger, one of the few on that tackle. So we're going to set up for a 3rd and 5, gaining a couple of yards on that play. But this is 4th down territory. The rest of the game is 4th down territory. You want to get their offense going. You want to give them something to be happy about for the next upcoming weeks and show them that you believe that they can score points. And we know that they can. This offense does have talent. They've just had quite a tough matchup the first 2 weeks. And this Boyne City team, like we mentioned, they've just got some units on that line. And got a lot of seniors, a lot of older guys, where there are some great seniors on this Elk squad, but a lot of youth as well. As we're going to line up for 3rd and 6. Important down here is there's a timeout by Elk Rapids. And as we were talking earlier about the players of the game, it's a little early to be calling them, but I'm pretty confident right now. I can tell you, the hardest working player of the game, and quite frankly, I'll give 2 different awards, don't you guys worry, but the hardest working player for me, I've got to say, I'm giving you guys some time to suspense, but it's Hudson Saylor. Kind of might be an interesting pick here because, he hasn't played a ton. He's a sophomore, one of the younger guys on the squad, but he's one of the bigger kids on the team. One of the guys, you look out on this Elk squad, you notice number 50 out there, and he's just been hustling, and he's been put in some different spots. And I really appreciate the way that he's elevated his game and not really let a lot of things bother him, constantly trying to run after the guy. Effort is always there, and you can't teach effort. Like I've said before, it's one of the most valuable skills a football player can have, and that's why we're going to be giving that one to Mr. Hudson Saylor. And that is going to be a false start on the offense there. Not seeing a number they're given, but not a great start there after the timeout. Kind of those types of things you would like to avoid after calling the timeout. You kind of think the whole point of the timeout is you execute the next play. Oh, excuse me, actually was a delay of game, not a false start. Or, a little bit of confusion. I think the ref is saying it was a false start. Either way, 5-yard penalty. And we're going to see a 3rd and 10 here. Flutie back there in the pistol. And he seems seemingly gonna keep it, pitching it out to oh my goodness, Brody Turner. Said his name so many times tonight, it's just like, how can I not? You know, a lot of times, I can't lie, when I see that number 34 out there, it is a football uniform, but number 34 will never not be Shaquille O'Neal in my head. One of the best to ever do it. Different sport here. We got basketball coming up in the winter, which I think we can all wait for. It's still hanging on to summer as long as we can up here. This is our money-making season. Beautiful time to be up here. Unless you're a big skier, you know, it's pretty nice up here then. But me, myself, I got a bad knee. I like to keep it cool inside. You know, the most I'll go on those tubes if we're going down the hill. But other than that, I'd like to be in the cabin sipping hot chocolate. Now, this is 4th and 11. Playbook's open for them. There's really nothing you can do to make the game worse. I like to see them air it out here and try to do something a little bit crazy. And they're gonna do a bootleg to the left, and Flutie's gonna try and break a sack, but he is taken down. That is number 30, Camden Jean Sheck. I wonder if he's got some French in his background. And Flutie tried to make a great play there, but they were on the the right side of the hash, but running an option with your quarterback who has shown a little bit of struggle getting the ball downfield, and then you're going to make him try to make an offhand throw to the left. A little bit of an interesting call in my opinion, but like I said, the playbook's open on that 4th down, and at this point you're kind of just going to go and see what happens. Maybe you make a play, you find a new tool that you didn't know your quarterback had, or maybe you go right there and you end up losing about 10 yards. But no harm, no foul. Game is still the same score. And we've got just under a quarter of time has gone by in this 4th quarter. Curious to see if they're going to try anything, try a different. Looks like we got a different quarterback out there for the Ramblers. That will be Drew Bryant, the sophomore. And he's handing that off to Bruin Hauger, who seemed to be taking over the reps here, as multiple Elks are on the tackle. Colin McCormick, one of the first ones there. Wondering if they're going to keep the starters on defense out there for the Elks, or if they're going to try and see if they got some younger guys there that they want to give some shots. But looking like most of the offensive starters are staying out there. Brody Turner leading this Elks defense, as we're going to see Mr. Bryant here, the pistol. Looking complete to Tanner Kelly, trying to fight through a tackle, but taken down by Trey Dennis along with Drew Darren, excuse me.
First down, Ramblers.
Just trying to see if they can break one here, just to really have the icing on the cake and give some of these younger guys, they're playing against varsity starters here, so this is a pretty big moment for some of these Ramblers, getting some of their first big minutes of the season. And that is Bruin again on the handle. Looking like he's going to be tackled a little bit short. Flutie there on the tackle, as well as Colin McCormick. They're just kind of seeming to keep the ball on the ground here, not trying to do too much. They're trying to, I saw a little bit trying to test Drew Bryant's arm. He's a pretty tall guy out there on the offense. You'll notice he's kind of got that typical quarterback build, long arms, long legs, one of the taller players out there. Looks like we haven't seen him do it yet, but looks like he's got some wheels on him too if he needed to take out and run out of that pocket. So we're going to see him line up in their favorite pistol formation. And that's going to be a quarterback power for Drew Bryant. Tripped up for a negligible gain. Looks like he got back to the line of scrimmage. That's going to be a 3rd and 5 on the Elk Rapids 35-yard line. Elk Rapids still trying to stay strong. You can see some of the morale has been leaving them. It's gold. It's been not the best game overall for them, but they're still putting out effort. You can still see that this still means something to them. I mean, there's still a lot of time to make plays that you want to bring into next week. As we're going to see Bryant take the snap. And another keeper. And he is wrapped up in the backfield by none other than Flutie, making a great play on the other side of the ball. Not been his best game offensively, but he's had a couple TFLs there in the backfield, shooting these gaps and trying to get these TFLs as much as he can, keep his team, afloat, keep the morale high. The quarterback, linebacker on defense, quarterback on offense. Pretty much the quarterback or the leader on both sides of the ball. And lining up in none other than their favorite pistol formation. As a little play action, Drew, dropped by number 12, Carter Van Horn. Drew Darren there on the coverage. Pretty good coverage there. I mean, he might have had a small step on him, but he wasn't really too far behind. I don't know if that would have been a full catch if he would have gotten it. As we're going to let our clock go here in the fourth quarter. And a first down, excuse me. We just saw them get the first down. That excuse me, that was a fourth down turnover. I don't know what was going on. The game's getting late, and I guess it's starting to bother me a little bit in my head, but that was a turnover on downs from the defense, leading this Elk Rapids offense out back on to the field. And now we finally do see Ollie Tramwell taking the helm, seeing if he can lead his team to some points so far this year. So he's going to take the snap. Looking downfield. He's going to was the catch completed? Henry Veith was the target. Looked like the ball was a little bit in front of him, and he could not come down with that ball. But really like to see what this young sophomore in Ollie Tramwell's got to offer. And at this point in the game, you're just trying to see maybe you've got something to work with behind center going forward, or maybe he still needs that another year to sit. And it looks like we're going to keep Brody Turner in the backfield. As he's sitting out there to block. And he is going to be sacked on that play by Cannon Janacek. Pretty, I'm not really liking so far what they've done. I'd like to see them just air out the ball, man. This game has got so much time left, and your young quarterback, he wants to play. He wants to show you that he should be the guy starting there. And I think they're going to let him go here and see what they can do here on 3rd and 13, as he is dropping back to pass the ball. And he's looking for number 18, and he could not track the ball there. That is Gatlin Zawara, another one of the sophomores who actually gets a lot of starting minutes for this Elk team offensively and defensively. Ollie Tramwell. He got a couple snaps last week. Another one of our phenomenal commentators who did the game last week was mentioning to me, curious to see if he was going to get any snaps this game. It didn't happen until, the end of the game, but they're going to punt it here on 4th down, not wanting the score to get any worse, as that looks like a great punt, taking an Elk bounce down to the 20-yard line, officially downed by Trey Dennis. And as this quarter comes to an end, the game, in fact, comes to an end, we are going to name the hardest working player of the game. Actually, we already named the hardest working player of the game, and that, my friends, was Hudson Saylor. But to probably none of your guys' surprise, I think the best player so far for this Elk Rapids Elks team has been none other than Brody Turner, the senior, number 34. Shaquille O'Neal out there. He's been making plays on offense. They put him a little in at fullback and actually had some of the best runs they've had so far. Maybe a piece that you look into next week and using more in the fullback position, but he's been great from the linebacker, getting in on a lot of tackles as we see. Another run by Bruin Hauger, tackled down by Flutie again. And the clock, it looks like our clock's a little bit ahead. Got just under 1 minute in the official game clock. Time ticking to an end, and the Ramblers came out and they dominated. This is exactly the type of game that they wanted to have. Line played good, quarterback play was good. The only thing that they really want to work on is some of those self-inflicted wounds. Multiple times that they would go backwards because of false starts or delay of games, something that very easily they can clean up into this next week. And the Elk Rapids, not another great showing for them, not seeming to score in their first 2 weeks of football, but just because they haven't scored much, that means they've got more time to catch up on those points. Their offense is not as far away from being great as it might look from the last 2 games. They played some really good teams that have matched up really well against them, as our clock is going to wind down to 0. What a phenomenal game for the Ramblers. Really couldn't ask for much of a better. We had great football weather tonight, some rain, some rainbows, and some sun sneaking through. Another wonderful night here on the Next Level Broadcasting Studio. This is Jared Stamen, your wonderful cameraman Ryan, giving you all the beautiful shots tonight. And make sure to catch us next week as the Boyne City, as we are going to be streaming live all of these games next week. And I'm going to tell you in just a moment where your Elks are playing next week. As we're going to talk real quick before I can do that, just talk about great game. We want to give our love to Boyne City for letting us be here tonight, as well as Ryan for coming up here and doing the game with us. Well, it looks like our schedule, the service is not really helping me out in this booth. All of our posts, all of our stuff's posted online at nextlevelbroadcasting.net, and don't forget to follow the Instagram at Next Level Broadcast. This is once again Jared Stamen and Ryan signing off from Boyne City.